Tonight on CTV3 News, Belmopan Court hands down a 14-year sentence to the man accused of the murder of Barbie Garcia. Also in the West, former Belmopan Mayor and ex-ambassador Said Bayeguera faces rape charges in court amid serious allegations. Jasmine Hardin's legal battle ends as she is cleared of assault and cocaine charges. And we take you to the streets of Orange Walk Town for the annual I Love My Catholic School Walk. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for February 13th, 2026.
From whiskeys and wines to elegantly crafted cocktails. Paired with charcuterie boards and perfectly seasoned steak bites, and much more. Perfect for celebrations, quiet nights, and every special occasion in between. 7 Notes Wine and Spirits, where every sip hits the right note.
ExpressNet now has up to 400 megabytes of high-speed internet. Choose the speed that fits you. From faster browsing to faster gaming. Connect more devices at once. Or bundle it with Express Plus and HBO Max. Internet and streaming entertainment, all in one.
Yeah, faster starts here.
Sign up today at any Centaur office or contact us to get started.
They got so much things to say right now. They got so much things to say.
The way some people are talking you'd never know, but the most blatant nepotism and fleecing of BTL took place under UDP when Dean Barrow was Prime Minister. Barrow placed his son Anwar on BTL's board in 2009 as soon as he nationalized the company, which would eventually cost Belizeans almost $650 million for shares barely worth $200 million. By 2014, Anwar was appointed executive chairman with extravagant salary and perks. Under him, BTL spent wildly on ventures that did not materialize and never brought any returns. Under the Barrows, BTL's profits plummeted from $38 million in 2009 to $17 million in 2019, and $10 million in 2020, as the company hardly paid dividends to government and people of Belize. Anwar Barrow has no moral authority to talk about BTL, as it was under his nepotistic rule, appointed by his father, that BTL was most blatantly fleeced.
They got so much things to say right now. They got so much things to say.
Good evening. With your newscast, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Jaden Games. The High Court in Belmopan has handed down a significant sentencing in the 2018 murder case involving 19-year-old Bobby Garcia. The defendant, Pablo Katsim, who was just 15 years old at the time of the crime, has been sentenced to 14 years in prison. The court's decision accounts for the nearly 7.5 years he has already spent on remand, with the possible of early release pending a review in 3 years. Katsim, now an adult, pleaded guilty to the murder of Garcia, a tragic incident that stunned the Belizean community and raised questions about youth violence and justice. His lawyer, Brian Neal, expressed optimism about his client's rehabilitation prospects. Since he has been in prison, he has completed many programs. He has shown himself to be someone who, if reintroduced into society, can be a productive member of society, Neal stated. The court's decisions also takes into account Katsim's remorse. Neal mentioned that his client expressed remorse for his actions and apologized to the mother and father and the entire society for what he had done. Neil emphasized that Katsim has faced his crime and accepted the consequences, factors which the judge considered when determining the sentence. The prosecution was led by Director of Public Prosecutions Sherilyn Vidal, who argued for justice in the case. Under Belizean law, offenders under 16 are subjected to specific provisions that allow for review of their case after a set period. As mentioned, Katsim's case will be revisited in 3 years to assess his eligibility for early release, contingent upon his rehabilitation and process. Katsim's alleged accomplice at the time of the murder was acquitted as he became a Crown witness. Garcia's murder took place on October 6, 2018. His body was found at the Kahal Pech archaeological site. He had been stabbed repeatedly, his throat slit, and an X carved into his face and chest. The gruesome scene immediately fueled fears in San Ignacio of a possible ritualistic murderer. Earlier that night, Bobby had told his family that he was going to the park. He never returned. When his relatives went searching, they ended up at Kahal Pech, where police had already discovered his body. Family members said at the time that Bobby rarely went out at night, and the fact that he left his house in pajamas in the rain only deepened their suspicion. In the old capital, police are probing a late-night gunfire incident on Clairholm Street that resulted in a security guard being injured and led to the detention of 2 minors on suspicion of attempted murder. According to reports, officers responded around 9:45 p.m. last night to reports of gunshots in the vicinity of Clairholm Street in Belize City. Upon arrival, they discovered the 49-year-old security officer Justo Pineda with gunshot wounds. Pineda was on duty inside premises of JL's Quick Loan on Douglas Jones Street, sitting at the rear of the property when he was approached by 2 armed males who then opened fire, wounding him. Despite injuries, Pineda managed to escape the scene and was later transported to the Carl Huesner Memorial Hospital for treatment. A swift police response resulted in the detention of 2 teenage males in the Precinct 1 area shortly after the shooting. Officers observed a male fleeing from the Conchel Bay area. A constable pursued on foot and apprehended a suspect wearing a ski mask at the intersection of West Colette Canal and Vernon Street. The suspect had pointed a firearm at an officer during the chase, but when the weapon malfunctioned, when the officer attempted to search him. Upon arrest, this 17-year-old from Flamboyant Street was found with a Ruger pistol. Another young male, 16 years old, was also taken into custody near the corner of Magazine Road, carrying a black CZ 9mm pistol. A security supervisor at JL's Quick Loan reported that 2 firearms had gone missing from the security booth following the shooting. Police noted there were no signs of forced entry into the booth. Crime scene investigators recovered several spent shells and live rounds from the area. Pineda remains in stable condition. The 2 minors who are currently in custody as authorities continue their investigation into the attempted murder and firearm theft. Said Bari Guerra, former mayor of Benque Viejo and ex-ambassador to Cuba, is facing serious criminal allegations that have brought him back into the spotlight. Yesterday, in the Magistrate Court of Benque Viejo, Guerra was formally charged with the crime of rape. The allegations stem from a complaint filed by a 16-year-old male student early last year. The teenager claimed that Guerra, who was employed as a teacher at his high school, took him out for drinks before escorting him to his residence. It is alleged that Guerra then committed the act of sexual assault. The young man reportedly sustained physical injuries, which in July of last year led to additional charges including 4 counts of sexual assault, 1 count of harm, and 1 count of procuring defilement through threats. Initially, Guerra was granted bail of $10,000 when these preliminary charges were laid. However, yesterday's court proceedings saw the charges upgraded to rape, a considerable more serious offense that carries a minimum penalty of 8 years in prison and can extend to life imprisonment. Magistrate Cara Waters presided over the hearing where Guerra was granted bail once again. His next court appearance is scheduled for mid-March. A Chinese national residing in Belize City was robbed around 3 a.m. this morning on Freetown Road in Belize City. Police say they found 44-year-old Chow Wen Wu, a naturalized Belizean, who reported that he had just arrived home about 2:45 a.m. and while exiting his vehicle, he felt someone placed him in a chokehold from behind. Wu said that he then observed the 3 male persons, one of whom hit him in the face and thereafter searched him. The culprit stole his 9mm firearm, 1 iPhone 13, a bunch of keys, and his wallet containing 1,000 Belizean dollars in cash. Jasmine Harden, who previously pleaded guilty to manslaughter by negligence in 2021, death of Senior Police Superintendent Henry Jamont, has been acquitted of additional charges, including common assault and possession of cocaine. The verdict was delivered on Monday, February 9th, at the Belize City Magistrates Court, marking the conclusion of a trial marked by procedural shifts and extensive legal proceedings. Harton, who appeared via video link for the verdict, faced charges arising from an incident involving Sandra Grisham, following a trial that experienced multiple delays, including a change of court venue prompted by judicial reassignment and a shift in her legal representation from Richard Dickey Bradley to attorney Arthur Saldivar. The magistrate found insufficient evidence to convict her on the assault and drug possession counts. Defense attorney Saldivar commented on the ruling, stating, "The prosecutor's evidence was not strong enough to secure a conviction," and pointed out that inconsistencies in Grisham's testimony played a role in weakening the case. He declined to elaborate further on the specifics of the discrepancies. Due to ongoing personal matters, notably a child custody dispute in the Turks and Caicos Islands, Harden was permitted to participate in the proceedings remotely. Her legal counsel had previously assured the court that she posed no flight risk, despite initial concerns raised during the trial. Harden was initially granted bail set at $1,000, but was later increased to $2,500 amid fears she might flee jurisdiction. Throughout her ordeal, Harden balanced her court appearances with personal life, welcoming her 3rd child in late 2025. She is also mother to twins, a boy and a girl, whose father is Andrew Ashcroft, son of billionaire Lord Michael Ashcroft. Regarding the incident involving Jamont, for which she was fined $75,000 and ordered to undertake community service, Saldivar clarified her community service is still before the court. Nothing has been set for her to serve it. He added that the YMCA on Flowers Road, originally designated to oversee her community service, claimed they were unaware of the court's order, indicating ongoing procedural issues. This verdict concludes at a complex chapter in Harden's legal saga, with her now cleared of the assault and drug possession charges, while her community service remains unresolved. Coming up next, more than 3,000 students from across the country take part in this year's I Love My Catholic School Walk. Stay tuned.
Primera llegada con peligro por parte de Paul. Vemos la repetición. Llegan los linderos del área. La número 7 llegó con todo. Estamos en vivo en en directo a través del canal 53 de Centaur. Izquierda viene cámara. El número 7 saca el disparo largo. El disparo de cámara.
Nosotros somos los campeones, estamos listos para National.
There's a saying I often return to, and that is a Chinese saying, that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Today, Belize chooses now because Belize has always lived under the shade of the tree. Remember Sobumbre floreo. Our forests, mangroves, rivers, and farms are not just features of our landscape, they are part of who we are as a people. They protect us from storms, feed our families, support livelihoods, and anchor our resilience in a changing climate. But we also know this truth. What we do not protect, we will eventually lose.
Greening Belize, 1 million trees for climate and sustainable development. Our forest cover is declining, especially after the fire season. What will be achieved? Restore and reforested lands, significant increase in hectares restored by 2035. Enhance carbon sequestration. We'll have improved data, mapping, and reporting systems with this. Institutional readiness, feasibility study and design for a national forestry incentive program. Community mobilization, which will build capacity and increase participation nationally, and improve governance.
For all environmentally conscious individuals and groups, CBOs, NGOs, community organizations, universities, come in to do their part to plant trees to assist in the restoration initiative for the country of Belize.
They got so much things to say right now. They got so much things to say.
The way some people are talking you'd never know, but the most blatant nepotism and fleecing of BTL took place under UDP when Dean Barrow was Prime Minister. Barrow placed his son Anwar on BTL's board in 2009 as soon as he nationalized the company, which would eventually cost Belizeans almost $650 million for shares barely worth $200 million. By 2014, Anwar was appointed executive chairman with extravagant salary and perks. Under him, BTL spent wildly on ventures that did not materialize and never brought any returns. Under the Barrows, BTL's profits plummeted from $38 million in 2009 to $17 million in 2019, and $10 million in 2020, as the company hardly paid dividends to government and people of Belize. Anwar Barrow has no moral authority to talk about BTL, as it was under his nepotistic rule, appointed by his father, that BTL was most blatantly fleeced.
They got so much things to say right now. They got so much things to say.
Basketball fans, the NBA season is back and more electrifying than ever.
Forever.
Witness every battle, every dunk, and every overhead and back pass with Centaur's Express Plus app. This season is a must-watch event packed with heart-stopping moments and unforgettable plays. Don't miss out. Stream all the action live on the Centaur's Express Plus app.
Drop James Harden's ass.
Express Plus, your front row seat to the 2025 NBA season.
From whiskeys and wines to elegantly crafted cocktails. Paired with charcuterie boards and perfectly seasoned steak bites, and much more. Perfect for celebrations, quiet nights, and every special occasion in between. 7 Notes Wine and Spirits, where every sip hits the right note.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio. 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
This building that we have gotten, the Welcome Center, is not just walls and it's not just here to beautify the Punta Gorda town and as an extension the Toledo district and Belize, but it's also here to play a main purpose and a role, and that is to continue to promote our tourism sector in Belize.
This provides us a platform and a venue for us to be able to do multiple things in working towards enhancing the tourism environment in Toledo and really showcasing it not only to locals but also to our international guests, which are paramount for us to continue to grow this industry.
This project, like others that we're working on throughout the country, was designed and is being delivered by Belizeans. We have spoken to the communities, we've spoken to tourism stakeholders and what needs to be done to ensure that we have the necessary infrastructure to improve the quality of the visitor experience.
Police are actively investigating a shooting incident that occurred in the Baha'i neighborhood of Kikaker village, resulting in a young man being hospitalized. According to authorities, officers responded to reports of gunfire around 9 p.m. and soon encountered a golf cart en route to the local clinic. On inspection, they found a 22-year-old man, later identified as Dominic Castillo, suffering from what appeared to be a gunshot wound to the back. Castillo received the medical treatment at the clinic before being transferred to the Carl Huschner Memorial Hospital, where he was reported to be in a stable condition. During the investigation, law enforcement officials recovered a loaded 9mm pistol and took into custody 29-year-old Javon Moody in connection with the firearm. Day 6 of protest action saw members of the Belize Communication Workers for Justice, the BCWJ, maintaining their presence as they continue to demand the payment of severance owed to them by the Belize Telemedia Limited. The group, comprised of former telecommunications workers, has been engaged in sustained protest action, calling for what they described as fairness, accountability, and the fulfillment of outstanding severance obligations. As their planned action continued today in Belize City at the DG headquarters, members of BCWJ expressed disappointment that the matter has not yet been resolved, noting that they had hoped for a settlement by the end of this week. Despite that expectation not materializing, the group says it remains steadfast in its call for justice.
But we believe fully that this would be the week when I finalize this thing. And so much unite, we hear the Prime Minister supporting us and saying that they will pay, but we continually get this this rhetoric from the board, BTL, and it's mostly the board where continually tell we we have to wait, then you get legal advice. Man, what kind of foolish is that? We don't hear the highest advice in the land. We come from the Caribbean coast, you know. What kind of advice they need?
So there's been no update from yesterday's resumption of protest?
No update. They've been silent since the last communication that we get from them.
And
BCWJ leaders are urging the relevant parties to engage in meaningful discussions to bring closure to the issue. They maintain that a transparent and timely settlement would not only resolve the current impasse, but also demonstrate a commitment to fairness and responsible corporate governance. As protest action enters its sixth day, the group says it remains united and determined in pursuit of what is considered long overdue compensation. More than 30,000 students from across the country took to the streets today as part of the third annual I Love My Catholic School Walk, a national initiative aimed at celebrating Catholic education and strengthening unity among schools. Here in Orange Walk Town, 10 Catholic primary schools from across the district came together for the very first time to participate in the event as one united body. The historic gathering saw hundreds of students, teachers, and parents parading through the principal streets of town, proudly displaying banners, school colors, and messages of faith and unity. President of Catholic Schools in Orange Walk, Lenny Umania, described this year's joint participation as a powerful symbol of camaraderie and sisterhood among the schools.
Tell you that this is not the first time we do this. It's for the past 3 years that our Catholic schools have been doing the Love Walk, or what we call the I Love My Catholic School Walk. The great thing about it is that across the country this happens for the past 3 years. This is the first year that Catholic schools are now coming together. Now whatever is fundraised will stay for the participating schools. And what will they do with this funding is try to uplift their schools. We cannot just depend on who can give money to us, but what can we do to better our schools? And we believe that a venture like this can unite us, and not only unite us, but also improve the schools for the children.
Ms. Umania explained that bringing all 10 schools together highlights the spirit of collaboration that exists within the Catholic education system. She noted that while each school has its own identity and traditions, they are united by shared values rooted in faith, service, and academic excellence.
It's for the first time that we have managed to put 10 Catholic schools together. This is the first time we're trying it out, and we are all expecting the best outcome. We have to realize that great large schools like La Immaculada can serve as schools to support the smaller schools. There are some schools that are very small within our district that cannot do something massive enough to fundraise to be able to sustain their school. So at a time like this, big schools like La Immaculada, San Francisco join up together in so sharing what we can with them. Our resources become part of their resources through this Love Walk.
According to Ms. Umania, larger schools have been stepping up to assist smaller institutions, whether through shared resources, mentorship, or collaborative activities. She said this spirit of solidarity ensures that no school feels isolated and that all students, regardless of enrollment size, benefit from a strong Catholic education community.
Yes, and not only coming together, they're bringing their talents, they're bringing their homemade foods and fruits. When you hear about chilindrinas, I still want to go buy these chilindrinas because I don't know what I want. But you see, the cultures are coming together. The unity of the sisterhood between our Catholic schools are coming together. And right now, in a time where the world needs love, we are showing it here, joining together.
Organizers emphasized that the rally was not only a celebration, but also a chance for families to interact, build relationships, and strengthen the bond between schools and the wider community.
The message I would like the country in a whole to know that the power of this country and the future of this country lies in the hands of the children. And the only way we can create the change is when the teachers, the parents, and the community could unite. You remember it took the whole village to raise a child. That mentality should exist up to today. And this is the mentality that we're seeing out here today. Unity, everybody coming together and uniting for a cause, the betterment of education of children across this country. So all I want is share the love with your schools, no matter which schools you come from, and together we can bring the love and make a change.
Nationally, organizers in Orange Walk say they look forward to making the United District Walk an annual tradition. In a move to enhance access to justice and social protections, the Cabinet has approved the enactment of Legal Aid Act No. 15 of 2023, which will come into effect in the upcoming fiscal year. This legislation aims to establish the Legal Aid Commission, making legal assistance more accessible to individuals of small or moderate economic means. The government intends for the cost associated with legal aid to be funded by the National Assembly, ensuring that justice is within reach for vulnerable populations. In a step forward in promoting a safe and respectable workplace, the Cabinet also approved the anti-sexual harassment policy for the public service. The policy delineates the scope of application, defines sexual harassment in the workplace, and establishes a complaints mechanism and international resolution processes. Disciplinary actions and other relevant considerations are outlined, reflecting the government's commitment to the implementation of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 2024. Addressing rural development and energy access, the Cabinet approved a project led by the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy and Logistics in collaboration with the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB. The project will implement the Least Coast Rural Electrification Plan, designed to identify and prioritize cost-effective electrification solutions in rural communities. It will include grid extension, renewable-based mini-grids, and standalone systems supporting the National Development Goal of universal electricity access under Plan Belize. In the postal sector, the Cabinet approved an increase in shipping fees by $1 for packages sent to the United States. This adjustment is a response to an executive order signed by the U.S. President in July 2025, which now taxes all dutiable international postal items containing goods entering the United States. Previously, goods valued up to $800 were duty-free, but this new regulation necessitates the fee increase to help offset additional costs. Conservation and environmental management also took center as the Cabinet reviewed the status of sand and gravel extraction along the North Stand Creek River. After careful consideration, it was decided that no new permits for extraction sites will be issued in 2026. The Cabinet emphasized a cautious and regulated approach, including a technical reassessment of existing extraction sites scheduled for the second quarter of 2026 to determine their eligibility and extraction limits. There is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Primera llegada con peligro por parte de Paul. Vemos la repetición. Llegan los linderos del área. La número 7 llegó con todo. Estamos en vivo, en directo a través del canal.
Registering the debt of a person is a crucial legal process done through the Civil Registry Department and Vital Statistics Unit, which allows you to obtain an official debt certificate. The new Civil Registry and Vital Statistics System, CRVS, makes it easy. Register online or visit an office countrywide. The debt registration process involves providing the necessary details about the deceased and the details of their debt. Register a debt promptly to avoid any delays or additional fees for late registration. Who can register a debt? Any person with an original medical certificate for the cause of debt, MCCD, issued by the medical facility certifying the debt. The new CRVS, digitally connecting citizens to all vital statistics services. Visit crvs.gov.pz to complete the debt registration process with ease and care.
No matter how green the grass is over there, you belong here with us.
Welcome to the overworld.
Anything you can dream about here?
Some things are gonna come out about me. I can't live with it no more.
Put a track lock on itself. Who moves, I want to know.
From whiskeys and wines to elegantly crafted cocktails. Paired with charcuterie boards and perfectly seasoned steak bites, and much more. Perfect for celebrations, quiet nights, and every special occasion in between. 7 Notes Wine and Spirits, where every sip hits the right note.
A farming family in the village of El Pilar is once again grappling with unexplained cattle deaths after 16 animals have died since the start of the year. The latest losses were discovered today when the family arrived at their ranch to conduct routine vaccinations. 3 cattle were found dead, adding to what they described as a troubling pattern that began in January and has continued week after week. Adrian Balan says the situation is not new to his family. He explained that they have faced similar losses in previous years with animals dying annually despite their efforts to maintain proper care and herd management. Balan stressed that the cattle were not neglected. According to him, the herd was treated twice for tick fever and receives annual vaccinations against blackleg and rabies. Despite these preventative measures, the deaths have persisted. In an effort to determine the cause, the family says they have tested their water supply and conducted blood tests on the affected animals. However, they say the results have not yet provided clear answers. The Belize Agriculture Health Authority, BAHA, and the Minister of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, MAFSE, has been informed of the situation. Officials indicate that this appears to be a reoccurrence of a similar case reported approximately 2 years ago. Preliminary findings suggest the likely cause may be anaplasmosis, a disease spread by tick bites. Authorities say the case remains under review and that a more detailed update on the situation is expected by Monday. In a show of community spirit and care, the children of Corozal Methodist School were treated to a day filled with love and kindness, thanks to a special initiative led by local government officials. The event, part of the Love Our Schools campaign, saw the participation of Minister of Local Government, Honorable Oscar Requena, Mayor Rigo Veos, and other distinguished guests who visited the school to spread cheer and appreciation. Organized by the Corozal Town Council through the Municipal Traffic Department, the event included a generous lunch for more than 70 students. Minister Requena, alongside his Chief Executive Officer Valentino Schal and Local Government Director Clifford King, made a special trip to Corozal to endorse the council's efforts. The children eagerly welcomed their visitors, embracing the moment with enthusiasm and gratitude. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, February 16th, here on CTV3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at www.ctv3believenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3BelieveNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Have a splendid night and have a safe and pleasant weekend.